at the O Museum. At the O, we encourage everyone who enters the sanctuary to be there to be different. We inspire creativity, diversity, and imagination. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 45th year in February. Right? We believe music, storytelling, and art and sports and science provide an outlet to get thoughts and ideas into the open. They are an expression of hope and love that have a lasting effect. They have the power to unite us. They can teach, they can heal, they can change hearts and promote compassion and understanding. As a 501c3, the O Museum and the Mansion has inspired and connected millions of visitors through our ever-changing, thought-provoking exhibits and hosted events. Did you know that we've helped organizations raise over $100 million right here? Hosting your next event here could be a good thing. Did you know there are 112 rooms here, all with different ceilings? Look up. This encourages visitors not just to look up and outside of ourselves, but to understand that as individuals, we are not the center of the universe. God has a bigger plan for us all. Then, of course, there are nearly 100 secret doors. These doors are much like the power of the movies. They spark wonder, ignite imagination, and open us up to the possibilities within ourselves. We also have a program here called the Heroes and Artists in Residence, and that's what a cornerstone of what we do, cornerstone. Each year, we provide over 1,000 nights of housing at no cost to those who inspire and help others. In this room, it has been the stage for some truly extraordinary moments. Right here, Pavarotti once sang "Oh Holy Night," accompanied by a homeless Vietnam veteran, one of our first hero and resident recipients. The stories in this space are endless, and they continue to grow. This is more than a museum. It's a place where dreams are sparked, connections are made, and communities are uplifted. I'm getting there. One second.
Well, you look good, Rebecca.
Thank you. I numbered them too, so clearly I didn't do that very good job. Oh, I know it is. Number 3 is right here. Sorry, everybody. So why am I sharing all this with you? Because it brings me to today's theme, Cary's Sisterhood. If you look over there, we have our hashtag, Cary Sisterhood. Any pictures you post on social media, we hope you'll use our hashtag, Cary Sisterhood. Over 2 years ago, my phone rang, and it was Cary Hatch. And she, well, I think she had masterminded a plan. She introduced me to this woman named H, and the museum, and the mansion, and this new magical project that she was involved in, and thought I'd be a good fit for. So that's the power of sisterhood, right? Because today, thanks to Cary, I am happy and proud to call H and Ted and everybody here my extended family. Like all of you, hashtag sisters are to Cary. Like all of you, they're my family like all of you are to Cary. Sorry, getting choked up. Cary, thank you for thinking of me. Now, let me introduce you to the brains and the beauty of everything O Mansion, O Museum, and 51 Steps to Freedom, H. Leonard's. H, as we fondly call her, established this unique venue in Washington, D.C., which is renowned for its blend of art, history, and hospitality. In fact, for those of you who don't know, Rosa Parks lived here for 10 years. And H and her were like a mother-daughter team. The mansion serves as a museum, a luxury inn, and cultural center, housing an extensive collection of artifacts and hosting a variety of events, including concerts, tours, and private gatherings. H is also a dedicated advocate for cultural preservation and community engagement. Everybody, please clap your hands for Ms. H. Leonard.
So, one of our mantras is dare to be different. So you will be served well eating. You're welcome to go up to the bar if you want anything, use the restroom. I know a lot of you are super busy. So if you need to do a conference call or hand is clear, our docents and our volunteers out front will tell you where you can go to have privacy. This is a stellar group of bold and unapologetic trailblazers. I am really humbled to simply stand in this room as I am in awe of each and every one of you. We're here today to honor Cary Hatch with the Rosa Parks Woman of the Year Award. Past recipients of this prestigious O Museum in the Mansion Award have been Susan Wozniacki, creator of YouTube, actress Cicely Tyson, and Marcia Thomas, executive director of USA for Africa. These women, in their own unique way, put mission over self. Susan Wozniacki, when taking the helm of YouTube, said, "My mother worked at the Library of Congress. I want to take YouTube into everyone's living room and make it the virtual Library of Congress." She did this, and yet very few people know her name. Cicely Tyson was an EGOT winner, which is very rare, so you know her name. But what she did beyond the scenes for women of color is why she won this award. In her own words, 3 Black actresses have played so many prostitutes, drug addicts, and housemaids, always negative. I won't play that kind of characterless role anymore, even if I have to go back to starving. Her refusal meant that she was out of work for long stretches of time, which is how she stayed with us from time to time when she needed assistance at no cost. And yet, when Mrs. Parks had no money the last year of her life to play for round-the-clock nursing care, in her final year, it was Miss Tyson who stepped up. Marcia Thomas, thank you, our 3rd winner, has been the executive director of USA for Africa from the start. She has taken in and raised over $125 million that are still rolling in from the song, "We Are the World," keeping it as alive today as when it was created 50 years ago. This past year, she produced not 1, but 2 documentaries. They are both fabulous and both totally different. One is about how the song was made, and one is what she has done over the past 50 years, distributing money to not just people in Africa, but in the United States. I don't know if you know it, but 40% of our population is children below the poverty level. And what you also might not know is 50% are white children and 50% are Black children. Not 1 penny of the money Marcia has raised has gone to pay overhead for her organization. Harriet Tubman said over 125 years ago, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." These are our guiding principles for selecting the O Museum's award recipients. The Woman of the Year, Rosa Parks Award, is Cary Hatch. For the past 8 years, she has met our team at least once a week, gratis, to keep our museum alive. And during the pandemic, she became the founding member of 51 Steps to Freedom, meeting sometimes 2 to 3 times a week. In fact, if it wasn't for Cary's insight, perseverance, and more than gentle pushing, all know I would not be speaking today. I'm an introvert. Cary said, "Get over it. Wear makeup. Pretend you're somebody else and get out there." It took her 4 years of saying the same thing repeatedly, but here I am, so thank you, Cary. Cary has done the same thing for each and every one of us in this room, just like our past winners have done, quietly, behind the scenes, making sure that those in need, those who need mentoring, soar. So Cary has not just been our connector, she has made sure that all of us keep our pedal to the metal. Saying over and over again to me, and I'm sure everyone in this room, I don't want my name associated with an organization that doesn't do what they promise. During our reception, we were playing a slideshow on some of the hidden figures that are the basis for 51 Steps to Freedom. Stories that you might not know about that have changed the world. So let me play the trailer. As the brilliant creator of the ad campaign DC Cool, Cary, you can see Cary's guiding hand in each second of this trailer.
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Lord, if you love me, keep me, I pray. A little bird is stretching out to the shimmering, shaking blue. Don't know where I'm going, but I know what to do. I don't know the hour that finds me in this room. Dust around my feet and still no sugar in my spoon. But I've only got the taste of something sweet as time. Not bottles on the table, but still hanging on the I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on my way. Lord, if you love me, I don't know where I'm going.
So, we are launching for World Pride. 500,000 people are coming to Washington in June of this coming year. And then we launched out of beta internationally for our 250th anniversary, which is July 4th, 2026. Cary Hatch is everyone's North Star. I am sure that each and every one of you have stories like mine about Cary. So what I'd like to do is to ask each and every one of you to come up and tell a short Cary story, no more than a minute or two. Some of you it might be difficult. If you go over, other people might not want to speak. I know you all got invitations to do this, and I hope that you will all come up. We are going to film this, so watch your language. But also, we want the people that couldn't attend, because we know it's close to Thanksgiving and everyone wanted to come, and people had family obligations or on travel. So we will be sending all of the speeches to everybody, including the people that aren't here today, and some of them sent videos also that we'll wait and show you all of them. So also, please, I know you'll be served sandwiches and you have food on the table, scones and cheese. I hope you have some of it because it's unique cheese that we sourced in Ohio of all places. But just make yourself at home while I bring up Debbie Jarvis, and we'll go from there. Woo!
Thank you, H. Thank you, Cary. We're going to start out with a toast to Cary. So please raise your glass. And this room filled with wonderful women is a testament to who Cary is. We all love you, and aren't we blessed that you love us too? Here's to Cary. Cheers. Cary is just a dear friend. And I don't remember how that friendship started. We were just at the same places. Every time I was there, she was there. And every time she was there, I was there. And so we just started hanging out together. And now we ride together. She's out in Potomac, a little farther out than I am. She comes to my house. We get in my car, and I drive us down here to attend whatever meeting, event it might be. I so look forward to the time that I spent with you and get to spend with you, Cary. And I know I am, just like everyone else here, so blessed to have you and to be able to call you my dear friend. And I love the selfie photos, because it's like, if Cary's taking a selfie, you better jump in. You know, it's making history. So again, Cary, here's to you. I love you dearly. Thank you so much for your friendship, your ear, your guidance, everything that you have, shared with me over the years. And here's to more time to come. All right, so Hillary is coming up next. Come on. I know that she has a broadcast to do, so we're so honored to have you. Thank you, Hillary.
Yes, that'll be prime time, GB English time, you can tell from the accent. So I know exactly when I met Cary, actually. It was 23 years ago. That was when I founded my company, and I was not any longer with a global firm, KPMG Worldwide, and I was locally in Washington, DC. And there was a Board of Trade event, and I'm really here to speak to a lot of the younger women in the room that aren't from that era. Because right after I met Cary, I went to fast forward a couple of years, I went to a 100th anniversary event in 2013. How many of you know who Emily Davison is? Oh ladies, shame on you. You must learn who Emily Davison is. Emily Davison died in 1913. You know how she died? She threw herself under King George V's horse at the Derby for the vote. And I went to a women's event, and a lady stood up and she said, how many of you would chain yourself to a fence? How many of you would throw yourself in front of a horse? How many of you would march, would protest, would risk losing everything that you've ever grown up with? Because that's what the suffragettes did. Until 1964, ladies, we couldn't even have a credit card before the Civil Rights Act, let alone, no wonder the divorce rate was low, but nothing. Now back to Cary, and this is what I remember. I came back from that event, and I was at an event at the Board of Trade, and I shared that event with Cary, and Cary and I were talking about, but what have we done? We feel like nothing compared to Emily Davison. But this is what I'm here to say to all of you younger ladies. When Cary started her business, and in the business community, there's lots of women now. We go to every event, there's plenty of women. There weren't women. The reason that Debbie Jarvis remembers going to everything with Cary, and why I remember Cary, and we all do, is because there was like one or two of us, and that was it. She did it in an era when it was so difficult, ladies. You must admire her and respect her as I do. Here is to Cary, who is a trailblazer for everybody behind her, everyone younger. Cary, I've always admired and respected you so much. Thank you. You gave me more confidence when I went and I saw you there. To Cary, another toast. Thank you, Cary. Thank you.
Who's next?
I'll jump up because Rebecca gave me a heads up and I prepared remarks. Beware.
Of course you did, Debbie.
Debbie, you kind of got a preview, but it's okay. Not everybody's. Okay, so thank you. So I'm Debbie Kaplan, and it's great to see everyone here. I know a lot of you, but not all of you. Really shocked. So to my dear friend Cary, many of you know that Cary and I met in the early 80s when we were first starting in our careers in DC through a networking organization called Women in Advertising and Marketing. How perfect is that? We got to know each other when we were both single, and yes, we did go to a tanning bed in Georgetown. It was, remember, it was the 80s. We got to know each other when we were both, I was slowly climbing the corporate ladder, and Cary bought and ran an agency. I got to know Cary as a friend, and Cary, okay. Sorry. I got to know Cary as a friend and as the genuine and impactful professional she was and will always be. Because of Cary, I had the fortune to hire MDB not just once, but 4 times, and they never disappointed.
was because when Cary says she's gonna do something on budget, on time, and it's the right thing, it happens. It's a rare thing, it's a beautiful thing. We served together on the board of the DC Ad Club, where she had the vision to create what is now known as Ad Week DC. I got to support her in that effort. I may or may not have gotten the running man, the AOL running man, to show up at the train station, and had a blast working with Cary on the 10th anniversary gala at Howard Theater, which was so fun. As many of you know, Cary was recognized for her impact in advertising at Adweek's 20th anniversary event last month. This was the day of Cary, you may recall, right before her Lifetime Achievement Award at the Women Who Mean Business event. Did you know that the mayor created a Cary Hatch Day? Cary has called me a serial client, but I am most honored to be a serial friend. Over the past 42 years, Cary has been a friend and a peer, but also a mentor. She's been there during every career transition, and let me tell you, that was a lot. In fact, because of Cary suggesting me as a candidate for the Leadership Greater Washington Chief Operating Officer role to Mary Abijay, who will be here hopefully, I had the great fortune to work at LGW, truly one of the greatest roles of my career. And as all of you today know, Cary is always lifting up others. And as all of you know, and have benefited from, Cary is a creative and strategic thinker, a direct, honest, and sincere partner, and loyal to the end. But don't mess with her. Do not mess with her. She is our true girl with grit, disco queen, and dear friend. And I'm so honored to be considered. So cheers to the month of Cary Hatch.
So Cary and I first worked together when Leadership Washington we were on the board, decided to rebrand as Leadership Greater Washington. And this was all pro bono work. Cary dedicated a lot of serious resources from her agency to do the market research, to try to come up with how we're going to talk about this new organization. And as you all might imagine, working with a large group of type A personalities on the LGW board was not too easy. So Cary and I kind of fell into a routine of tough cop, gentle cop, or leader cop, or can't we all get along cop. And it would take more than 3 seconds to figure out who was the tough cop. You don't know Cary. But I also figured out that even though she appears to be made of steel on the outside, she's very kind and generous and sincere at the center. And I share that story about the rebrand because it's only one tiny example of all that Cary has done behind the scenes to make our community richer and better without taking credit. Many years back, when I was wondering what the heck I wanted to do with my life, and we had many lunches, and we always favored women-owned restaurants and business, I must say. Cary actually showed me a plan where we could go into business together. I didn't do it, but I was ever grateful to you for opening that door and even thinking about it. But the most wonderful thing about Cary is she's a connector for other women, a supporter and a cheerleader for all of us. You created Girls with Grit, and I remember the first gathering that you organized at your house, where you had this beautifully set table with your grandmother's china, and you told us the story of your stereotype busting, pistol carrying grandmother, and we were all regaled by this. But you said she was your role model, and you have gone on to become a role model for so many women in this community. Somehow you saw that grit in all of us. So Girls with Grit are strong women supporting each other partners in crime, confidants, cheerleaders, and yes, even disco partners. You can never have enough sequins. You create moments, but you not only create them, where's my postcard? You memorialize them. She does events and then she sends people like cards and pictures afterwards. She's always thinking of something creative. It's amazing. This was actually from one of our pandemic gatherings. So Cary, we're your tribe, and you are the sister I choose to have, connected by grit and by heart. When it comes to retirement, I know that you are not gonna pass the torch. I know that you are gonna use your torch to light the torches of other women so that the room is brighter for all of us. I am so grateful to be part of your circle, your sisterhood, and your friend. I love you.
Uh-oh.
This is like a game of reverse Mad Libs. The earlier you get off, the more words you get to use. So many good words have already been said. There are still so many more. I am so honored to be part of this group that you have included all of us in throughout your entire life. I've made some wrong choices today. I am gonna own up to them. So 100 years ago, I represented DC in the Miss America pageant. My hat piece was going to be my crown, and I thought, too much, and I chose wrong. I could have worn the whole getup to honor the real Miss DC, the real Miss America, the real heart and soul and fire of the city. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for meeting me at the end of a stage once after hosting something. You came up to me and you said, what is this puzzle? What are you doing wrong? And I was like, help me, mold me, do whatever you want. I'm a work in progress. She will keep working on me. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing what we all want women to do and reminding us that we need to do it for others. Thank you for bringing us along, and thank you for inspiring us to bring others with us. And in that, I want to toast you, but also bring up my friend Deanna, who's going to, we realize that the sooner we get up here, the better it is for us, because we'll run out of wonderful things to say, and we'll start repeating each other. Thank you all for being part of this community that is so tight, and we will continue doing your legacy of work every single day. Cheers.
I was sadly very late to the Cary Hatch party. I didn't set eyes on her until exactly 7 years ago. It was November of 2017, and I will tell you, I took a photo of it, and I had to go back and look. I was at a BizNow event. My small company I'd launched had just won the largest contract of its history, and I was excited, and my hair was on fire at the same time, and a little bit terrified. And I was at this event, and here, as we know, Cary, amidst all the men, right? And she's saying the most wisdom and inspired words at the moment, and you can tell her hands. And I took a photo at that very moment, because I was like, I need to know her. And I went up afterwards and I introduced myself, and it was a moment of celebrity stalking, and you could just tell the impact that she had from the podium. So about a year later, I was speaking with Christina Buari, and she said, I would like to introduce you to a group of us that are working with H and what all the impactful programs that H was working on here at Mansion. And I got to meet Cary again, but then I got to meet her and be her friend and be in that limelight of wisdom. And it's meant the most, and I haven't seen as much of you since the pandemic, and I hope to change that. But again, there are these moments in life where you say, I want to grow up to be her. So thanks so much.
So Cary, I want to thank you for being the really Diana Berry to me. I had come into Washington, D.C., doing lots of business in Northern Virginia, joined the D.C. Chamber of Commerce as a board member in 2013, and I was already going to events, and I would see you buzzing all around. And you always made it a point to come up and speak to me and say, hello, how are you? Like we had seen each other in our swimsuits, which we had not. But you were always so good and kind to me. So Christina Blueri, who had a Sterling Women in Sterling, Virginia, said, you need to do a Sterling Women in Washington, D.C. and have really powerful women to speak. And you know enough people that you can do that. So I made a list of all of the wonderful women that I wanted to speak. I had the head of the Department of Energy, had the head of Exelon, had the head of the Department of Energy, if I mentioned that, Deborah Salamayo, Angela Franco, Debbie Jarvis, all of these people were on my list. Cary Hatch was on my list. But everybody knows Cary Hatch is on everybody's list. So it took her forever to be able to find a time that it could work. And she came and she spoke and she inspired everyone. But what was so interesting is I did not know that long before people were calling their squads, their teams, and their tribes, you had your whole crew. And they rolled up in their Rosie Allen Herring and a ton of others. And they all had made these masks and mounted them on wooden sticks, and it was all a picture of Cary. So as Cary was speaking, Cary was looking at Cary. It was the cutest thing ever. But hats off, or in this case, hats on, to women who are really kind enough to make a way for other people, to welcome them into a room where they don't know anybody, to make them feel wanted and respected, to see how they can collaborate with them. This is what you've done for everybody. It is resounding. It is always the same. You weren't, you automatically give people kind of a pass into the cool kids club. I appreciate that. I think more people need to be cool. DC cool doesn't surprise me because everything you've done, I mean, you look so pretty that you could have, like fallen off of a little pirouette stand or something. But really, we know that you have gangster hip hop and disco things going on in your life, and you are that girl. So congratulations on being Woman of the Year here at this amazing place, and thank you for being you.
My name is Jody Warren, and for those of you who don't know me in the room, I know some of you, a lot of you, Cary Hatch brought me to DC in 2006 from New Orleans post Hurricane Katrina. Very emotional for me. I needed to get out. And I worked for Cary Hatch at MDB for 13 years. So I was mentored by her, I worked under her, I did some of the best work that I feel I did in my entire life. It was a very great time. I don't know that Cary, and maybe you do know this, Cary, but some of the best friends I've ever made were because of you, because of the community that you had, that you built at MDB, through the people that you hired, through like Gretchen and others, and even people that we work with. And then also pulling me into the I Club, which Debbie, I know you were a big part of that. You roped me in, and I'm still on the board 14 years later.
Jody, no one escapes. Let's just be clear, no one escapes.
Yes. There's been a trickle down effect. So the short story is there's a trickle down effect when you meet Cary. And I've worked with her day in, day out. Client work, but it's more than that. It's learning from her. I learned from her. I became friends with her. Now she's a mentor. A couple of times I've needed career advice. Recently I've needed career advice. I call Cary and she drops everything and she picks up the phone and we talk. And she's got notes for me. I know. I mean, she's looking through. She's like, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. Okay, have you done this? Let's talk about this. What about this? And my mind is reeling, right? I just got laid off and it's horrible. And this woman is like, she's got notes for me and she's picking me up. She's helping me. And I just remember getting off that call and thinking, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, she's my friend, she's my mentor. Like, this is what I get for 13 years of working with her, and I'm still getting from her. It's like she's still giving to me. I have friendships because of her. Like, this is going to last me a lifetime, and that's your legacy. Like, you give everything. Thank you. Big kiss, hug, toast to Cary. Thank you.
This is double dash.
No,
this is
Who gets it first? So, my name is Pinky Mayfield, and so I have a mini story. So, when Cinderella left the ball, she left at midnight. She left with a tattered dress. She left with one slipper, and her coach had turned into a pumpkin. If Cinderella had left the ball at 10 minutes to midnight, she would have left a princess. This is the story that Cary Hatch said to me, or we talked about when she sold her business. And Cary, it's been a guiding light for me. Most of you know I'm retiring at the end of the year, and it's because of that story, Cary, I wanted to leave the ball with 10 minutes to midnight. I have followed you like a groupie from afar for some time. And Cary, honestly, you know, I would just sit in rooms, watch you in awe of not only the person you are, but I know we're on camera, but the badass that you are. You are a supreme baddie. Cary Hatch walks in a room and she commands it. Everyone around her knows that she has that power in that moment. And so, you know, I told the story of Cinderella, who was a princess, but you are a true queen.
I got in. You know that I'm asking everybody, say your name, who you are, because some of us don't, like, it expands our network. Sorry, I can't help but give notes. Cary taught me that, you know, you always have to give notes. My name is Lydia Soto Harmon, and I'm with the Student Conservation Association, but formerly of the Girl Scouts. And I have so many Cary stories, but one that is just incredible that we are in this place. I got a call from Cary saying that H was writing a book about Rosa Parks, and that one of the things that she wanted to do was to give back to the community, and wanted the proceeds from the book to go to the Girl Scouts. And so I was invited to come on a Sunday afternoon, evening, to an incredible event where we had all these speakers that talked about the impact that Rosa Parks had and the impact that H's book was going to have. And Cary, I just know that you were a catalyst in making that happen. And I am so grateful to you because you are a woman's woman. And I have learned so much from you, continue to learn from you. And so if everybody can take their whatever they're drinking, I'm going to teach you a Spanish toast. Okay? It's arriba. Arriba. Abajo. Abajo. Al centro. Al centro. Adentro. So I'm going to ask Irma Becerra, and she asked me to introduce her, because I could say Irma Becerra. Yeah.
Thank you, Lydia. And hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you. If I haven't met you before, I'm delighted to be here. I am the president of Marymount University and a Cary fan. So it is my pleasure to be here to celebrate Cary Hatch's remarkable achievements. Cary's journey is nothing short of inspirational, and her story embodies values that we hold dear at Marymount University: courage, resilience, and a deep commitment to serving others. From her early days as an entrepreneur, Cary has shown the fearlessness and grit that only visionary leaders possess. At the age of 30, the young age of 30, she took out $10,000 loan to buy MDV Communications, and with a relentless drive and strategic mindset, she turned it into one of the most celebrated advertising agencies in the Washington area. Under her leadership, MDV Communications achieved significant milestones, received recognitions from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and was named as an Inc. 500 firm, all while she led campaigns for some of the most prominent brands in the world, including National Geographic, Fannie Mae, and Chevy Chase Trust. Cary's impact, however, extends far beyond the business world. She has long understood how to elevate brands and make a tangible difference in people's lives. Her work with nonprofit campaigns like the Partnership for Drug-Free America, Cary is so proud of what you did there, to combat teen ecstasy use. It's a prime example of her ability to use communications as a force for good. Her professional accolades reflect her sustained excellence, and she was honored in the Washington Business Journal's Power 100, and more recently with a Lifetime Achievement Award. I was so happy to be there to celebrate you, Cary, and take pictures with you. And also Women Who Mean Business, DC Chamber Small Business Person of the Year, and received the DC Silver Medal from the American Advertising Federation. These recognitions speak to her leadership, vision, and the ability to elevate her field. In addition to all these achievements, Cary has supported our community through her board service. Her leadership roles with organizations such as the Greater Washington Board of Trade, Leadership Greater Washington, and Kennedy Center Capital Corporate Council exemplify her commitment to giving back to the community. On a personal note, I find Cary's commitment to empowering women incredibly inspiring. As someone deeply passionate about this cause, I am moved by how Cary has committed herself to lifting others, and we have heard all the wonderful stories from all the women here that are testimony to that. Her leadership is a testament to the power of creating opportunities for women to thrive. Cary, your story is one of courage and excellence. You have built a thriving business and inspired countless others, especially women, to pursue their dreams with determination and grace. Your journey reminds us of the importance of grit and perseverance in achieving our goals. Once again, congratulations on your well-deserved recognition, and here for Cary.
Jump up fast.
Good afternoon. My name is Indira Hennard, and I'm the Executive Director of the DC Rape Crisis Center. Cary, what can I say? I'm gonna be good. Cary, you are the dream. You are the dream that I wish that everyone would have in their life, the dream friend, the dream sister, the dream colleague. When I think of Cary, I think of someone who is not just the brand master, but the protocol master. And a fun story, most recently as last week, this is event season in DC, right? And there was a major event, and it was black tie optional. And text messages were flying back and forth that said, oh, what am I gonna wear, what am I gonna wear, da-da-da-da-da. And I had my outfit out for like a month, like I knew what I was gonna wear, et cetera, et cetera. And then I started to doubt myself. And I reached out to Cary and I called Cary. And I said, Cary, the dress code. And she reaffirmed for me that I was on the right track. And I say that to say that very few people do things in decency and in order. And when I think of you, Cary, I think of someone who does things in decency and order. You are the protocol queen. I am so grateful that you have opened your heart and opened your circle to me. I appreciate the love with accountability as I'm coming towards November 30th. I know.
It's in my calendar.
Yeah, I know. And so I just want to say thank you so much. You are so loved. You are so cared for. We love you endlessly. And I just hope you know that no matter what happens in life, your legacy is cemented. And I want you to know that I wish you all the happiness your heart and hand can hold. And remember to enjoy the magic of ordinary days, because your story is not finished yet, and there's still multiple chapters to be written. I love you, and thank you
My name is Charlie Drew Jarvis. I'm delighted to be here with all of you who have had such important relationships with Cary over the years. I did not know Cary, or I only knew Cary by her reputation. I knew of her business, I knew of the places that she was a part of, I knew how she guided personal lives, I knew that she was more than just a person who helped you market. She was a person who helped you be your person, the person that you wanted to be. But when I really first encountered her was when I was on the Washington Housing Conservancy Board. I'm a member of the Federal City Council. They decided that the Federal City Council would do a very important housing initiative in which we would buy property, would buy it in neighborhoods that were beginning to change, and we would make those properties available to the people who live there so that we would prevent displacement. It's a complicated message to tell. It's a complicated message to market. And what I observed about this professional woman was that she sits and she listens. And she understands what it is that you want to say about your organization. And she figures out how to get very complicated stories said in very simple ways. One of which is so important because those organizations want to raise funds. And if people don't have a clear understanding of who you are and what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and a message is modeled with that, then you won't be able to have an organization which works. I found that she would sit and listen, and then I would look for each entity of which she was a part. I would look on Facebook or on Twitter, and she had responded overnight to whatever it was. And I said, she's so good. I responded every time I saw it. Every time I saw that Cary had put up a response, I would respond to her. And I honestly think that's how we develop a friendship. Because this is a supremely competent marketing executive. And she sat with us at the beginning of 2018 to develop the message. And she was extremely important to that organization in really honing that message. And that message has really been one that has been received. You are helping us to raise the funds. You are still doing it. And every time I see that Twitter, I go, there she is. There is Cary. There is that woman who is the supreme marketing executive and the person who cares about what she does and who she helps. We love you.
Hi everyone, the reason I'm gonna go next is I wanna echo those exact remarks that she just took the words right out of my mouth, but I think that is so true. By the way, my name is Sonia McCormick. I'm the Director of Community Relations for PNC Bank, and all the friendship stuff that has already been said, I mean, I can't say enough about Cary. She's been a role model and a friend to me for so many years. But on the professional front, I think that is so true. I mean, somebody who knows, she coined the term, the hashtag DC Cool, right? So this is somebody, if Cary Hatch is behind something, I mean, it's real. She has vetted it, right? And so you talked about the Washington Housing Conservancy. I'm gonna talk about this 51 Steps to Freedom, because Cary came to me, I don't know, 3-4 years ago when you were working on this, and I thought, wow, you all have heard a little bit about it, but I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more in case you haven't figured out what this project is. This is a project that is modeled after the Freedom Trail in Boston for residents and tourists to understand the history of their city. And Cary and a group of other people who are got together and said, why does Washington DC not have something like this? I mean, it's like an outdoor museum, right? It is an incredible project where 51 stops in DC from the east side of the city to the west side of the city are all going to be opportunities for people to understand certain history. So I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, Rebecca. Is that okay? Perfect. So the first step that has already been completed is the Howard University stop. And there's a QR code where you download an app and you have singers. Remind me who?
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella Fitzgerald.
performers who performed at the Howard Theater come and talk to you. I mean, it is such a great and incredible way for people to understand the city of Washington. So Cary brings this to us, and I'm thinking, there is no way I'm gonna get Jermaine Johnson, my regional president. But you know, the more I thought, I'm like, you know what, if she's behind it, this is something we need to consider. I mean, like, look, if you're in community relations, you get hit up for lots and lots of projects. We say no to things 90% of the time. But I just had this feeling like, you know what, we should invite them in to come and talk to us. And so Cary and H and some of the techies behind this all came to our office and presented this to us. And we're like, this is really a no-brainer. I mean, we have got to get behind this. And so I'm here to say, we invested $50,000. We are the first corporate funder. And so I thank you, Cary, for bringing that to us. We're so proud to be associated, but really, I'm also here to say, let's all make a small gift, whether it's personal or corporate, to this cause, because it's going to take millions of dollars for all of these 51 steps to be completed. I think they've done six so far, so there's a lot more to go. There's city funding, I know, on the way, but these things take a long time to do. So on behalf of the team who is involved with the project, I just want to say, let's do it in Cary's honor, and you'll be very excited that you did. So congratulations on your leadership and your friendship. Love you.
Oh, good. That worked. It is so incredible to be among this sisterhood. I hope you're taking it all in. I mean, this is really magnificent. And some of you are new faces. I'm Beth Johnson, and I know lots of you as well. I'm CEO and founder of RP3, which is another ad agency in town. And I have really enjoyed listening to all of you talk about your relationships with Cary, calling her a friend, a mentor, a chosen sister, a partner, a boss. But I have the privilege of looking up to Cary in a very different way. She's a competitor. And I will tell you that early in my career, I was horrified of her. So she would walk in the room and I would go the other way because I was so afraid of her. But doesn't it say so much about her that I am standing here today as just one of her most grateful and biggest fans? You may not realize that only, I think, less than 1% of advertising agencies is owned by a woman in this country. Yeah. And when Cary started, it had to be 0.000%. She is truly a trailblazer in our industry and widely recognized in the advertising industry, which is hard to say for an agency that's out of DC. I have admired Cary for years. But recently, in recent years, I'll say, I have had many, many ups and downs running my own agency, quite a few downs, if I'm being honest. And it was Cary who took me by the hand and said, I will help you. Mm-hmm. And numerous times I called on Cary. And she was so generous with her support of me, her very wise counsel, some of which was, stay away from that person, go this direction. But mostly I'm just very grateful to be in your universe. And I am probably not the only one in this room who thinks that just because you're retiring doesn't mean you're going away, right, Cary? So I, for one, plan to stay very connected and really appreciate having you in my life. Cheers to you, Cary.
It's a grand entrance.
Hello, my name's Nikki Odell. Hi, Nikki. Hi. And I own a national management consulting firm that started, well, we were foreign in Virginia first, and we were foreign in DC. We started in Virginia, and then I moved to DC in 2020, and I opened an office in 2017. And I was trying to get my foot in the door to DC, the DC business community. And someone with the DC agency introduced me by email, or introduced Cary, or mentioned me or something to Cary. I don't know. I got an email from her, and I was thinking, okay. When I opened the email, I responded really quickly, and we instantly. She just said, hey, we've got this translation work, which is one of the lines that we support, and she offered me the opportunity to translate on her campaigns for a major campaign. I don't know if she's saying the name, but at the end of the day, that was our in DC, because that was our first past performance, and we've gone on to work with several agencies in translation, but also in our other lines. And I remembered thinking, like, that was so easy. Like, how did that happen? And then she, as she transitioned out of her role as she sold the company, she made sure that the people on her team still, you know, do business with me. And I made it a point to say, like, I can't mess up. I can't do one thing off, because she believed in me, and she's so perfect, you know, in her work. I'm sure she's perfect in life, but I mean, in her work, she's a perfect. And if I make one mistake, then, you know, she believed in me way too much for me to make one mistake. So, and now that we've had all these campaigns, I had to look back and say, like, it takes one person to believe in you, and it takes one person to spread a positive word about your work ethic. And you know, a few weeks ago, I kept seeing her on LinkedIn. I'm like, how do you go to 10 events in a day? And then, how are you the honoree at all of them? And then I kept seeing, like, I didn't even really pay attention to LinkedIn until the last few years, and I'm like, she's everywhere, and she's around all the people, and I was looking to see who she's around, and I'm like, you have to be so special to be in that company on a regular basis. And then I started to, like, so a few weeks ago I just prayed for her, and I was just at home and I just prayed for her, and I thought, I wish I knew her longer. And we just met in 2020, and I said, God, I wish I knew someone so great longer. And I text her and I said, can we go to lunch, or we should have coffee soon or something? And she said, yeah, let's do it. And I was thinking, there's another example of, like, someone who could just be like, do you know who I am? No, ma'am, don't have time for you. But she just says, yeah, sure, let's go. Like, when we're waiting on, let's do it. And we met for lunch or coffee or whatever it was last week. And even she's just so approachable and so real and so able to just to make you feel like you're in the right place. And I don't know if you all saw it, but Obama recently said something like, or I don't know when he said it, I recently saw it. You know, when you wait, you work so hard to get a seat at the table, and you realize people ain't all that. and it's very true. I've gotten in rooms with people I've just been in awe of, and I'm like, oh, poor you, because it was horrible being you. You're not who I thought you were. But Cary is beyond who I ever thought she was, and again, that's why I wish I knew her sooner and longer, because you don't get to meet people who are so great like her all the time. So we got to share some very personal stories last week, and I felt so connected to someone that I could share something so deep. And I remembered when she shared something very personal with me, and I said, you know, God allows you to go through things so that you can have compassion for other people when they go through them. And I just am always going to be thankful to you. I'm always going to appreciate the conversations, the emails, the thought about me. I want you to know, Cary, that your legacy, it's bigger than you can even put your finger on. You won't know what you left behind. One day when we all are looking back, you're gonna be a part of our story. And I just hope you sit and absorb all of this. Every day that you're honored, know that you deserve it. You change people's lives, and you don't understand. You don't understand the impact of just the breath you take every day, but we do.
I see everybody with notes, that would have been a good idea. I'm Gretchen Carswell. I worked with Cary for 15 years.
These are not prison sentences.
She does call them tours of duty though.
Yes,
So,
I do.
I mean, I did go back a second time, so shame on me. I love hearing everybody's stories from the aspect of a friend and a business woman and whatever. I can tell you stories from a day-to-day working with Cary, which is both, I'm not gonna, no revisionist history here. Could be a treat or not on any given day. But I can say that I am a better creative director because of you. It's very flattering to hear you talk about various projects, because I worked on them. So it's kind of like flattery by proxy, so that's great. But so I was trying to think, I was talking to Jody about stories we could tell, and I think they'll be nice, I promise.
Okay.
More worse for me, probably. One I'll say is that we had an 8:45 stand-up meeting every day, and I learned that if I went to Starbucks beforehand, I needed to get to work early. But if I waited until after the meeting, then I could go to Starbucks if I got the boss coffee. So I kind of took a little chunk of my day, and I was like, oh, this works out perfect. And her preferred was a caramel, if I remember correctly, decaf caramel macchiato. Usually caramel macchiato, but decaf if it was a rough day. And so I came in one morning, and she's like, decaf caramel macchiato, and I said, okay, great. And Jody and I wandered over, but they were out of decaf, and I had to get regular. And I handed her the regular, and I looked at her and I said, don't make me regret this. And she's like, okay. And everyone kind of giggled in the office because they thought it was funny, but also was like, I can't believe you would have the audacity to talk to Cary like that. And I was like, but I think Cary and I had a good enough relationship that she saw how hard I worked. She knew my dedication, first and foremost, was to her and the good of the company and our clients. And because of that, we had a really great relationship. So much so, I'll tell you this story again, this is worse on me than her. We moved to an office on I Street, and Cary came to me, as she often does, and says, I have an idea. Make it work. And I was like, okay. And it was, she wanted to have recess out in Farragut Park. For adults to go out and play in Farragut Park at lunchtime and just have a little bit of a break in the spring and summer. And I said, great, let me think about that. And so we're like, okay, so we're thinking about kids games that adults might want to play. Like, is it giant Jenga, is it whatever? And in my mind and in my stream of consciousness, this made perfect sense, to type into Google adult toys. And what I got served was exactly what you're all laughing at. So then I had to go back to her office and say, hey, I'm not really sure if you monitor our browser history or how closely you look at it, but I need to explain to you what just happened. So, and we got a good laugh about that. But we also worked really hard together and created a portfolio of work that I'm incredibly proud of. And more so than that, like you've heard time and time again today, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my mentor. Thank you for making me crazy, but also making me better. And I appreciate it so much, so thank you.
Okay, I know Sheila's in here somewhere. Where the heck is she? She's certainly not behind the piano. Let's just look around the living room and see what we can find. Wait, I'm getting close. It's getting louder. It's good. Wait a minute. There she is.
Hi, Cary. I am so sorry I can't be there with you today. I'm getting ready to play a concert. In fact, I'm playing it right now while you're having wonderful tea there with HH and all the girls. So I wish I could be there. It's really an honor to be included in Team Cary, and we'll get together sometime soon. In the meantime,
hi Cary, it's Diana Leon Brown, and I just wanted to share a quick story of appreciation for you. We've had a shortest journey from everyone else in this room, but a very deep and meaningful one. I think of you as my Tiffany box friend, small and mighty. Our time has been limited, but it has been very impactful. I remember us going to concerts and dancing to disco music as we tried to find our cars down the street with Debbie Jarvis. But most importantly, in any event that you are in and I'm in the room, any boards that we serve together, you always take a moment to find time to ask me about my children, particularly my son with the questionable girlfriend that we all had issues with. And you've never forgotten. I appreciate you. I appreciate your authenticity, your kindness, and you are a true woman of character. So thank you, and I celebrate you today, and congratulations.
I'm Nancy. I run a marketing consulting firm called Noetic, and I have known Cary for about 10 years now. When I think of Cary Hatch, I think of a notable leader and my dear friend. And I think of grit and grace. With Cary, her grit is her perseverance, her preparedness, her setting the bar high in all she does. Her grace is her warmth and her caring, her courage and her quiet determination. Also, her sense of humor, her love of 80s disco music, and coloring books with curse words are some of my most favorite things about her. I'm sorry to miss the event today, but I want you to know, Cary, you are the real deal. You inspire me in every way, every day, and you inspire so many. Thank you for all you do and all you are.
Cary, congratulations on winning the Woman of the Year award. There is nobody I can think of that is more deserving than you. Your generosity of time and brain power and guidance is really inspiring. I feel personally really, really lucky and grateful that I've had the opportunity to take a master class all by myself in messaging with you. Thank you so much for all that you do for all of us and lifting women up the way that you do. You are truly an inspiration, and I am so lucky to know you. And in your own immortal words, onward.
This was pretty emotional. So thank you all for sharing. How a person's life touches upon the edge of another and moves like a wheel is a small mystery. When we understand this, miracles surround us. You think with your heart and you feel with your mind. This is Cary. She has always been this. She is the core of our sisterhood. Life is not about living out a dream. Life is about making dreams real for other people. Thank you, Cary, for saying the words yes to our request to honor you for generations to come today. Together, today, and every day, as the sisterhood Cary has created, we can all achieve things beyond what we know. It's about letting go, taking risks, opening your heart. Your past may not affect your future, but your future always creates your past. Magic and miracles do happen. Like Mrs. Rosa Parks, you can be quiet, but in your quest, you must believe you can move mountains. And boy, Cary, you have moved mountains. So I'd like you all to, I don't know if you saw the award here that Cary's getting and the cake that she's taking home to her family. But I would love to introduce the woman of the moment.
What a truly remarkable afternoon. You've warmed my heart in so many ways you'll never know. I am both deeply humbled and immensely grateful. And yet honored and grateful somehow fall short of capturing the enormity of what I feel right now. First, thank you to H.H. Leonard's in the O Museum. Thank you very much to Tracy, Rebecca, and the entire team behind this exceptional event. This recognition means the world to me, and I'm forever indebted to you for making today so truly unforgettable, and every one of you that's here as well. I'd like to add an additional word about my dear friend H. I describe her as simply magical and a wee bit mystical. How many of your friends, I was thinking to myself this morning, have the kind of magical orbit that I'm about to share with you now? When I'm on Southwest Freeway and get a call in the car and it's H saying, "Can you run by the mansion? Jeff Bezos and his family are joining me here. Would you like to meet him?" In honoring Rosa Parks in December of 2019, I believe. Her orbit included Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish. Yeah. Who else can be connected to Paul Williams in a way that's meaningful to me? My parents, my father owned Wilkins Coffee, which is where Jim Henson got his start with Kermit the Frog. And Paul Williams wrote The Rainbow Connection. The real rainbow connection for me is H. And how many are committed and unwavering in their beliefs such that they put it all on the line every day? When I first met H, I was indeed mystified, and I have been entranced ever since. Many of you probably feel the same way. I was first working with her on the Rosa Parks celebration and putting together the Angel Committee, and now 51 Steps to Freedom. I'm indeed extraordinarily humbled to receive this honor. For the previous recipients are world-class leaders, advocates, and they are simply awe-inspiring. They are women who have inspired change and made a lasting impact on the world. Unlike Susan Wojcicki, former CEO of YouTube, I am not an innovator or a visionary, but hopefully I've inspired a few young women to chase their purpose and persevere against the inevitable headwinds along the way. Unlike Cicely Tyson, I'm not an award-winning film, television, or stage actress, but hopefully I've been a force to break barriers and advance women. And unlike Marcia Thomas, the executive director of USA Today, I've not inspired a generational movement for peace and understanding, but hopefully in some way I've inspired change. I'm extremely honored to receive the Humanitarian of the Year honor, but I must confess, my greatest achievements will never be about the business I built, the campaigns I've led, or even the awards that I've won along the way. My greatest accomplishment has always been about the people raised, the lives touched, and those I've given hope to. This is what truly defines me. H asked me to share a few thoughts from my remarks at the Washington Business Journal event. So if you've heard some of these before, play along. They truly do crystallize some key tenets that I continue to subscribe to. As I reflect on my own journey and those who have championed my success, I look around this room and see so many of you here today. We are all here because of the magical moments of inspiration, guidance, and yes, grit that we've shared with one another. There are so many of you that I have leaned on, admired, relied upon, and many of you are my North Stars in moments of uncertainty. At times, I found myself asking, what would Charlene do? What would Debbie do? Pinky, Mary, Abby, Sonia, Deanna, Deborah, Angela, and Indira, what would they do? You have all been my guiding lights. As women in business and community leaders, we often aspire to be more than successful. We strive to be nearly invincible. Sometimes I feel like being bulletproof is just the price of admission. But as I close out a 40-year career, I'm learning perhaps my hardest lesson. I'm learning to become something new, but not someone new. I'm embracing new roles and new perspectives and focusing on communities and their needs. And let me tell you, for those who know me, this is a hard shift to the left. Gretchen, you know this. My husband always says, you could never work for anyone, and he's right. But in this next chapter, I am still here as a resource, and that includes you, Nikki. To lift others, to share what I've learned, and to help them write their own success stories, because I understand only too well that one day the story you share might just be someone else's survival guide. I've shared my opinions and scars openly, sometimes a little too candidly, but I'll continue to do so. In fact, I've already got a working title for my book, Scar Tissue, Diary of a Sane Woman in a Mad Men's World. Credit to the incredible Deborah Solomeo for that title. Right. These scars aren't symbols of weakness, they are my superpower. I've been underestimated my entire life, and it's that very underestimation that has fueled me. In 1980, I was told I was too introverted to ever make it in advertising. But you see, that was from a Johns Hopkins psychiatrist. I'm naming names. But you see, I come from a heritage of tenacity. Failure was never an option, and low expectations were simply fuel for my fire. My grandmother, who lived till 106, was my greatest example. And she was just 24 years old in 1927 when she drove cross country with 4 girlfriends in a Model T Ford, armed with little more than grit and determination. Remember, there were no cell phones, no GPS, no credit cards. In fact, women had just finally gotten the right to vote. They slept under the stars, a revolver for protection, and sheer audacity as their guide. And my grandmother was in charge of the revolver. Her courage, her spirit, and her grit are the foundation of everything I am. She was the original girl with grit, and I'm very proud to carry that legacy forward. You see, girls with grit, this sisterhood we have today, we don't quit. In fact, the fear of failure becomes our fuel. We don't succumb to the gravitational pull of naysayers, and let's face it, ladies, there's plenty. We hustle, we have passion, and we have perseverance. In my time running my agency, I've gone through Black Friday, 2 recessions that cut my revenue nearly in half. Beth, we know what this feels like. 9/11 anthrax, multiple government shutdowns, and 2 client bankruptcies and COVID. My goal in each was to come out not bitter, but better. As the Desiree song goes, you gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. And it's true, we must support each other, and love will save the day. Surrounding myself with these women, these people who share these values of integrity, tenacity, celebrating others, and giving back has always been my secret to success. These are the people that are my tribe. My ride or die friends, my girls with grit. Any success I've ever had, I owe to my tribe, my family, and the indomitable spirit of my grandmother. I exceeded my own expectations, and along the way I helped others elevate brands, organizations, causes, and most importantly, people, their confidence, and their success. But my friends, I can only say this is what matters most. Before I get too poetic, and you've heard some of it here today, I know that Cary Hatch may be an acquired taste. Some people call me a force of nature, and that's the polite version. I wouldn't have it any other way. My long-suffering husband, who loves to remind me that I may be the CEO at work, but I'm certainly not the CEO at home, is an interesting partner for sure. He's a good sport and a great counterweight to me. My son Logan and daughter-in-law Elizabeth are my constant source of inspiration. My family, my tribe, my incredible colleagues. You have sustained me through it all. You have helped me make this journey more than just work. It's been a love affair with an industry, a city, and a community that I simply adore. And to all the naysayers who doubted me along the way, I say thank you. You ignited my grit and determination, and you'll have a special place in my book, trust me. So during this season of Thanksgiving, let's celebrate our blessings, let's celebrate each other, and every woman who has ever been underestimated. Here's to you. Together we are redefining what's possible and changing the communities we care about. This award is not just for me, but for the countless individuals and organizations I've had the privilege to work alongside. The Partnership for a Drug-Free America, Samaritans for the Homeless, and as an advocate on Capitol Hill for veterans suicide prevention. And now, 51 Steps to Freedom. Together, we've demonstrated that courage, dignity, and determination can transform lives and communities. I share this moment with all of those who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to uplift others. My hope is that we continue to empower and support one another, because together we can create a world where opportunity, justice, and compassion are available to all. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get to it. Onward and upward. Now I'll have some champagne.
Artie's gonna close us out, but I
My
just
wife.
wanna say that the first Sunday of every month, Mrs. Parks would host a gospel brunch here. That was the best sermon I have ever heard.
All right, I only need one more minute of your time and we're out of here. First of all, thank you, Cary. That was an amazing sermon and very inspirational, and be somebody who's, oh, mention desserts at the end. There's lots of desserts over there, please make sure, and there's more food, so lots of food, lots of desserts. I just wanted to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Cary. For those of you who have more time, you're welcome to wander through the mansion out back. It's really special. We're having a tree jubilee winter wonderland. We have about 20 or 30 decorated trees. Different people donated trees. And yes, if you want to get a raffle ticket, you can buy a raffle ticket. They're $1. You can win the tree of your choice. So you can try to win it. Oh, we're going to give you a raffle ticket. Okay, we're going to give you a raffle ticket. That said, Where's Sonia? 51stepstofreedom.org. Donate button. Thank you very much on behalf of Cary. Anyways, everyone have fun. Thank you so much.